Here are 10 of history's most quietly dull facts. Listen, relax, and let them carry you to sleep. Soft music begins, a low ambient hum that cradles each syllable. I speak in a steady, calm monotone, inviting you to let attention soften and thoughts unfurl like distant clouds. Fact 1. In the vast, sprawling machinery of the Roman Empire, even the smallest details were noted with a quiet, persistent diligence. Romans kept meticulously detailed logs of road repairs, inscribed not on grand monuments, but on humble wax tablets. These were the everyday records of an empire built on order. Each entry was a testament to the physical world. Stones replaced, counted one by one, the labor hours of the men who lifted and set them. Every element was quantified, every effort recorded. An entry reads like a ledger from a world both distant and strangely familiar. The scribe, perhaps a legionary quartermaster or a civic official, would note the essentials with practiced efficiency. The specific day, under a Mediterranean sun. The designated crew, their names perhaps known, their labor now a simple number. A particular length of road, a specific mile marker along the Via Appia or the Fosseway. And always the precise number of stones reset into the earth. Not an estimate, but an exact count. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the soft, rhythmic scratch of the stylus on the yielding wax, a sound of civilization asserting itself against entropy. This repetitive rhythm of counting and recording, of maintenance and order, was the steady, quiet heartbeat of an empire. It was the mundane work that made the magnificent possible. These were profoundly practical records, noting the slow grind of wear from iron-rimmed wheels, the subtle damage of weather, and the constant, vital movement of goods. All of this effort, all this careful accounting, was to keep commerce, legions, and messages moving across thousands of miles of paved stone. These measurements were repeated, season after season, year after year, a cycle of decay and repair that mirrored life itself. The eye follows the neat columns of Roman numerals, their straight lines forming a pattern as calming and regular as ripples on a still pond. In a world of uncertainty, this predictability brings a deep and abiding solace, the knowledge that the road will be maintained, that order will be kept. Fact 2. Centuries later, a different kind of record offers a similar sense of quiet continuity. Medieval ledgers, penned by candlelight in drafty scriptoriums, show the yearly totals for the salt tax. What is remarkable is their consistency. The figures are often completely unchanged for decades at a time. This wasn't a sign of a static economy, but of a system working as intended. The tax was a fixed sum, a known quantity. It was a quiet constant in the kingdom's accounts. Imagine the scribe, year after year, dipping his quill and writing the same number, the same familiar shape of the numerals, the same placement on the page. There was no need for recalculation, no fluctuation to account for. In a time of plague, war, and political upheaval, this single unchanging number in a dusty book represented a small island of stability. It was a fiscal anchor, a predictable revenue stream that the kingdom could rely on, no matter the turmoil outside the treasury walls. The salt itself was essential for preserving food, a cornerstone of daily life. The tax on it was just as fundamental to the state. Its steadiness was a source of comfort, a silent affirmation that, despite everything, the basic structures of society endured. The salt was gathered, the tax was paid, the number was written. The world went on. Fact 3. The Ottoman palace recorded exact pantry quantities, grains, spices, and oil. Each entry a small anchor of supply, feasts ensured by lists. The routine, count, measure, note. A dependable menu of materials, planning as domestic assurance, ceremony and daily sustenance balanced, continuity over urgency. The list closes for another day. Fact 4. Victorian towns kept licensing lists for chimney sweeps, names, license numbers, and dates. Civic steadiness in orderly columns. Small annotations as fingerprints of care. Fact 5. Local officials reported yearly livestock counts. Oxen, horses, goats, each animal accounted for. Numbers shift by a handful, year to year. Methodical counting binds land and community. Stoic comfort in unremarkable lists. Fact 6. Postal services kept precise route timetables. Departure minutes, arrival minutes. A coach leaves at 6:07, arrives at 9:33. Exactitude is soothing. A clockwork promise of news. The world ordered on paper. Waiting becomes a regulated act. Simplicity, observed without urgency, invites rest. Fact 7. In the vast, sun-drenched quarries of ancient Egypt, a different kind of monument was being created, one not of stone, but of information. The overseers of the pharaonic quarries meticulously logged how many blocks were cut each day, and their precise dimensions. This wasn't a record of glory, but a quiet, essential act of administration. Every detail was noted: the length, the width, the thickness. These measurements formed the foundation of a colossal logistical puzzle. Weights, destinations, and transport logistics were all rendered as simple, orderly lists. These were practical inscriptions, not boasts for the ages. They were working documents, painted in ochre directly onto the stone, meant to be read by foremen and scribes, not gods or kings. Monumental work, built upon modest accounting. Imagine a scribe, sitting in the shade of a canvas tent, the air thick with limestone dust. He calmly tallies as carts are loaded, his reed pen moving across a papyrus sheet. These regular entries reassure. They bring order to the immense effort, ensuring that every piece would fit, every team was supplied, and every block would reach its destination along the Nile. Even the greatest monuments, the pyramids that seemed to defy time itself, relied on the quiet, steady rhythm of accounting. The numbers settle like sediment, layer upon layer of data forming a bedrock of certainty. The mind rests on the solidity of stone and the equal solidity of a well-kept ledger. Fact 8. Thousands of years ago, in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, another form of quiet reassurance was being etched into the earth itself. Sumerian clay receipts recorded the distribution of barley rations in exact, unwavering measures. Each small tablet was a complete record: the ration, the recipient, the date. The cuneiform script, pressed into damp clay with a reed stylus, is a marvel of uniform, compact handwriting. It is a system built for clarity and permanence. These were simple transactions, clearly noted. A worker receives his wages in grain, a temple administrator dispenses supplies. There is no ambiguity. The tablet is a witness, a guarantee that the system is fair and predictable. These weren't epic poems or royal decrees. They were the mundane, essential paperwork of a functioning society. An archive of these tablets represents an entire economy, a web of obligations met and labor rewarded, all held in small, fire-hardened blocks of clay. It is a profound form of human reassurance, etched in earth. A promise made and kept, a day's work given a day's pay, captured forever in the simplest of materials. The feeling of the cool, dense clay in your hand is the feeling of certainty. Fact 9. In Ming Dynasty China, the construction of great monuments, like the walls of Nanjing, required a staggering number of bricks. To manage this immense undertaking, officials kept meticulous records. They logged the output of each brick kiln, not just by the day, but by the specific mold used to shape the clay. Imagine the quiet scratch of a brush on paper, a world away from the roar of the kilns, each stroke a testament to a day's labor. The records noted the precise counts of bricks successfully fired, a satisfying tally of creation. But they also accounted for the failures, the batches discarded due to cracks or imperfections. A column for what was, and a column for what could not be. There is a gentle honesty in this, an acceptance of the imperfect nature of all great works. Dates, molds, totals, each entry a quiet certainty. A grid of human effort, of sweat and heat and earth, all distilled into orderly figures. The rhythm of the work, day after day, is echoed in the rhythm of the record-keeping. This repetition becomes a form of reassurance. A promise that every effort, successful or not, was seen, was counted, was part of the whole. The Grand Wall was built not just of bricks, but of these countless quiet moments of accounting. Fact 10. Now, travel across centuries and oceans to a lonely lighthouse standing against the sea. Here, another kind of record was kept with equal devotion. In their logbooks, keepers noted the nightly usage of oil, the number of gallons burned to keep the great light turning, the careful trimming of the wicks to ensure the flame was bright and clean. And of course, the weather was noted, the temperament of the wind, the state of the sea, the mood of the sky. These entries were a conversation between the keeper and the elements. A storm outside might rage, but inside, the numbers in the logbook were a point of calm, a measure of control in a world of chaos. The purpose of the lighthouse was consistency, a predictable pulse of light for ships lost in the dark. The beam stays constant, and so do the numbers that track its fuel. The lists, in their own way, keep the light steady. From the heart of an empire to the edge of the sea, these small, persistent records sustain large lives. They are the quiet hum beneath the noise of history. Feel the rhythm in this. The turning of a page, the marking of a tally. It is like breathing, inhaling and exhaling, like columns of figures marching neatly down a page. The urgency of the past has faded. The fires of the kiln are cold. The storms have passed the lighthouse. Nothing urgent remains, only these tidy, peaceful totals, a legacy of order. There is comfort in this precision, a gentle structure to hold on to as the world softens into sleep. Let this ordinary, steadfast precision guide you there now. Let the numbers fade as you drift away.